Hello and welcome to another episode of Moose's Gear Goo Review. I'm Moose, and today we have a knife review. I'm guessing you know what company it comes from. Of the Benchmade Protagonist. The Benchmade Protagonist. So the Protagonist is one of Benchmade's fixed blade models, which they don't have many, but they have some good ones, and so this is one of them. And as you can see by the box, this is part of Benchmade's Black class. If you're not familiar with them, they have different color coatings for different knives and their uses they're intended for. So Black class is more or less for law enforcement, EMT rescue, I believe, or first responders, and military. Okay, so with that said, then a lot of times these knives are oriented towards a tactical, military stylized look on the knife. The knife is 9.12 inches overall length. The blade length is 4.54 inches, so about 4.5 inches. The blade material is 154 cm. Which is standard for many of Benchmade's knives. They do a really good job with the 154. The style of the knife is a drop point blade. It's coated in black. I'm not sure what their coating is. I'm sure you can find that on their website. It's a plain edge. This knife does come in four overall variations. You have the drop point with a segment of serrations near the handle. Then you have a tanto, and then a tanto with serrations. So you have four options for it. All of them are the same color combination, though. The overall handle length is 4.58 inches. The handle thickness is just over half an inch. The handle material is some polymer. Is very grippy. It's very rubbery, and it has some traction printing on this inlaid part. But the other thing I really like is that it is a full tang knife where the tang is exposed all the way around, so these slabs, these handle scales, can be removed from these two. So these scales are removable. So I took the screw out, and you can see that the knife itself is milled out or skeletonized, once again reducing the weight, and that is why this knife is actually a sub 5-ounce fixed blade, which is pretty rare. So ultimately this would be a great knife for backpacking. But the other cool thing is that the top of the handle is scalloped, which makes it easier to hold the knife in some other hand configurations, which is a really nice feature. I wish more fixed blades actually had scalloped, or even folding knives had some sort of scalloping to it, because it just locks the thumb in there that much better. And the weight on the knife itself is 4.23 ounces. So it's a relatively light, slim profile knife for the size, because that's 4.5 inches for that weight is actually really good. That being said, I want to talk to you about what it comes with. So I kind of left the items in the box as I got them. First off, I did buy this knife from a knife shop, Sparta Knives in Rosedale Mall, local knife store here in Minnesota. Check them out if you're in the area. They're just fantastic. They carry pretty much every Benchmade that is currently in production, so really cool stuff. So when I first saw it, it came with this sheath here, and then it had this elastic snap retention system that goes over and snaps into place. And so even if this were to come out of the sheath, the elastic strap will then hold it there too. So pretty cool. It also takes away any wiggles or shaking from it. Because it snaps on both sides, it makes this a ambidextrous to carry knife. So I can either do the one side or the other, which is neat. Very symmetrical, really cool. Then it also came with this nylon attachment piece for making it a belt carry. And I go over this is how the Protagonist sheath system works with the belt strap attachment, and then also the retention strap here. You can see it just holds it in from the front. It keeps the knife from falling out. And then to release the strap, all I have to do is reach with my fingers, undo it this way, pull it out if I need it, or if I know I'm going to be doing a lot of work in the area, then I just fold this over the handle, take it out, and boom. And then you have it there. You can take it, set it back in. Okay? But as you can see, without that retention strap, it tends to swing out. And if you're walking or hiking in a wooded area, or there's things to get caught up or hung up on this, it can. So that's why this retention strap when traveling is important and easy enough. So it's kind of a tricky system, not too tricky. It also comes with these other items, which are a little bit ambiguous and confusing. Obviously, this is some sort of attachment here that then somehow also works with this, and I'll try to show you an example on how that works. But then you get this little bag attachment here, and this is for Molly, I believe. So it has 2 arrows and it says tip, so you can orient it as far as which way you want the tip. Now I'm not exactly sure how this thing is going to work the best, but it came with this kind of clip thing where it folds over on itself and then you slide it in there and it'll lock. Unfortunately, I don't have any other Molly because I'm not a terribly tactical guy. But I do have this kind of tactical water bottle for a water kit here. So as you can see, they give you some sort of system to attach it to Molly. It's not the easiest. It's not explained anywhere in any of the literature that it came with. But nevertheless, you know, it is a way to attach it, and I'm sure there's better clips that you could probably buy. I know there's some sort of quick release clips or quicker clips than this that, you know, you just slide it through there and then slide through there and there. So you might want to invest in that, but at least you have this plate to attach to. Plus with the sheath, because this is the meat and potatoes, if you keep it like this, this can easily be a pack knife, you know, where you just throw it in your pack and take it out when you need it. But, you know, it is what it is. And that's not that bad to have it that way. If you don't have the snap, it's even lighter. But the friction retention isn't the best. It's tight, but it feels like it could be tighter, which is another cool feature of this knife, is that on the sheath there's a small screw here and there's a pinched slot there. So if for whatever reason over time this becomes loose, you can just take it, tighten the screw one way or loosen up, and that will increase the retention or decrease the retention from the friction sheath. So that's a really cool feature again. So besides these parts, we'll get to those in a little bit. This thing came really sharp, long blade, and it's just wicked as far as slicing power. So super cool there, just awesome. With those scallops, you can hold it in a chest lever grip that fits really comfortable. As far as handle goes, I'm going to talk about that because I do have one gripe with it. So the one scalloped, you can reverse it to the other for like skinning, which is actually really comfortable as well. Reverse grip, I don't really like. I feel like the handle's a little too long because I can't really get my thumb over it, and my pinky doesn't fit into that choil. So reverse grip, not the greatest. This grip with the support of the thumb on the jimping, oh yeah, it has jimping and a slight ramp there, is probably the most comfortable for slicing and any other work, which is good. But then if you were to just do some power kind of hammer grip, this handle is far too thin, and thin both in the profile and in the width to give you a confident grip, at least for somebody with my size hands. I have large size hands. You know, I know it's there, but I really don't feel like I have a solid grip. And I wanted to compare that a little slightly to some other knives. Though these are smaller, you can see that the profile on the cat is much, just, you know, 1/4 inch wider almost, or at least it feels like it. So if we line that up there, but it's wide enough that you do actually have a better grip in like this hammer grip than you do with the Protagonist. Thin wides, it's about the same width as a mini grip, but then once again the handle just seems to fit better compared to this, and I don't know why. It just, for whatever reason, feels that way. So it's not a huge deal because I don't feel like I'm going to be doing a ton of bushcraft stuff like this anyways. And the variety of the other grips is fine enough, but it's just one thing where it doesn't feel as confident as it could. That being said, we're going to quickly compare it to some other fixed blades just to give you a size comparison. So first up, we have the Kershaw D-Skin Hunter, which is a really cool knife, but I'll have to show it this way. I'm going to line up this line with the top of the handles there. Fairly similar in size there. We'll line them up. We have the Becker BK16. Awesome knife, probably my overall favorite bushcraft knife. We have a really big knife. We have the Buck Reaper with the rosewood handles. And then we have a Mora Craft Line, one of their older craft line, which is more similar to a Mora Companion. As you can see, these four are all generally the same. The Reaper's slightly larger as far as blade length, but handle length, it's shorter. But as you can see, they're relatively the same. We're going to compare thickness, both handle width. You can see why some of these handles are far more comfortable and ergonomic to hold. But I think the designer, or the overall design of the Protagonist, was to be a slim, light, fixed blade carry. Blade thickness is still fairly thin. It's about the same thickness as the D-Skin as far as the tang goes. But then you can see these thick G10 handle scales here give you much more to grab onto. And once again, the Reaper is thicker. But that's just a little bit of comparison. So the last little test, depending on how you have it, is going to be, got to put it in the sheath here, the Ugly Brown Glove Test. Ugly Brown Glove Test. So here we go. If I had just this, and I have to unsnap one or the other, boom, pull it out. Clearly it's not necessarily a one-handed knife unless it's on your hip. But that being said, I can secure the snap with these gloves. Boom. The traction rubberized polymer grip actually grips really well with these cloth gloves, so pretty good. And the jimping locks my thumb in. So honestly, this totally passes the Ugly Brown Glove Test. I'll say 90%, 95% pass. So excellent. So other than that, no huge gripes. I think this is a really cool knife for you. Check it out, especially if you're more of a tactical person, or if you want a lighter weight fixed blade for slicing. This actually works very well as a kitchen food prep knife. So definitely check it out. It's the Benchmade Protagonist. Please like, subscribe, comment. Check out the eye in the upper right hand corner for other knife reviews. And yeah, I give it, we'll say for the sheath system and everything else, a solid 4 out of 5. So thank you, and I'll see you outside.